Welcome back to Unit 5, Video 3, Civil Liberties, Civil Rights, talking about free speech, everybody's favorite. Alright, the Supreme Court has something that they call the Preferred Position Doctrine. The basic idea is that free speech is so important to a country being free that it shouldn't be limited if at all possible. So if it is going to be limited, it should only be if there is a severe, imminent threat, meaning that something bad is about to happen very, very soon. Otherwise, we should have free speech as much as possible. So whenever free speech is involved in a Supreme Court case, it is the preference of the court for free speech to come out victorious, is the idea here. Now we have various types of speech that are protected and a few that are not protected. Alright, protected speech includes symbolic speech. For instance, flag burning is an example of symbolic speech. Flag burning is constitutionally protected, so you do have the constitutional right. I'm not saying that you should do it, but you do have that right. Same thing as wearing shirts that have political messages on it. You do have that free speech. Hate speech is also protected. There is a line, though, that can't be crossed. So something like the KKK, they do have the right to say racist and hateful things. However, they can't cross the line of it then becoming violent, where it calls for imminent illegal action. So they can talk about hateful, racist things in the abstract, but if it's going to actually encourage people to do something illegal right then and there, that's when it crosses the line and is no longer protected. Now we also have types of speech that are not protected. Libel is not protected. That's a written lie about a person. Remember, in order to convict somebody of libel, you must prove that they had malicious intent, that they intended to harm. But that is not protected. Oh, well, here it is. To convict a person of libel, you have to prove 4 things. Prove that it was false. You have to prove that it harmed them. You have to prove that they showed a reckless disregard for the truth. And you have to prove that they had, like I said, malice or malicious intent. So, for instance, if a newspaper published a review of your local pizzeria, and they said that there were, rats running all across the tables and everywhere, roaches and, disgusting stuff like that, and that wasn't true, the pizzeria could sue the newspaper, but in order to win the conviction, not only do they have to prove it was false, which is easy, they have to show that it harmed their business. That would be easy too, because they probably lost some sales after that. They'd have to prove that it showed that the newspaper columnist had a disregard for the truth. In other words, that they didn't try hard enough to find out whether or not those statements are true. The tough thing to prove, though, is that malicious intent. You'd have to prove that they intentionally were trying to harm you, and that's where it gets difficult to convict somebody of libel. Slander is also not protected. It's the same as libel, except this is spoken. So libel is a written lie. Slander is a spoken lie about somebody. Fighting words are also not protected. They are words that are intended to incite violence. Can't do that either. And obscenity is not protected. And so we have an obscenity test coming from the Supreme Court case Miller versus California. And it asks the following questions. Would the average person applying community standards judge the work as appealing to a person's baser sexual instincts? So we're talking again subjective here. Who's the average person? What community standards? So this can be different in different parts of the country. As well as, again, baser is talking about a person's lowest, maybe shameful, maybe outside of what is considered normal. So again, that can be subjective as well. Does the work depict sexual behavior in an offensive manner? Probably subjective as well. And is it, meaning the work, also of literary, artistic, political, or scientific value? So does it have some sort of other value? If it does, then it's not obscene, but it could be depicted as, or considered obscene if not. So basic idea, obscenity not protected. This has been a La Money production. Deuces.